and ask the folks, hey, excuse me, did you hear about this being sold to developers and they're going to build possible Whole Foods here and they're going to have luxury apartments on it? How do you feel about that?
That was suck.
Suck? Would you go to Whole Foods?
I mean, I do go to Whole Foods, but it's more pricier.
Right, right. Thank you very much. Well, that's what the plan is. Have a great day. I'm Freddie Vasquez, live in ShopRite, where there's going to be a Whole Foods here possibly. And most people are not aware. Where are community leaders, the so-called community advocates, the council members? Are they asking the people if they want a Whole Foods here? Maybe they just don't care what the people want, right? So where are those so-called community advocates? John, Kata, where are those community advocates you were talking about? You know, the community leaders you're talking about, not to mention the ones that are supposed to be advocating for the people. Oh,
Good evening, folks. Happy Sunday. I'm Freddie Vasquez. This is Basement Politics Unfiltered. Tonight, I want to talk about the closing of the ShopRite, the developments that are going up in the downtown area. Also, campaign signs. Who's taking down the Moranti signs, and Mayor Mike Spano putting up campaign signs or just signs. Don't know really what to make of them. And there's a war going on in Israel and Palestine, or Palestine and Israel. I don't know. Folks, I'm Freddie Vasquez, Basement Politics Unfiltered. Happy Sunday. Hope you're all having a blessed day. The video that you saw, if you didn't watch, I was playing as a intro to the podcast, is from my visit today to the ShopRite over on Riverdale and Prospect, the one that has been sold to a real estate investment holdings company by the name of Hager Pacific Properties for reportedly $38 million. So what does that mean for the ShopRite, the CVS, the people there in that community who patron that place, right? But first, Israel, there's a war going on real quick. If you don't know what's been happening, there was an attack on Israelis by a group known as Hamas. According to AP reports, 700 Israeli are dead. Israel is striking back. They're bombing the homes of Hamas leaders, mosque, and they reported that they've killed at least 400 Hamas fighters or Palestinians. I'm not exactly sure. They just said he killed at least 400. Biden says he's sending additional support over to Israel. You know, Israel gets a lot of money. I mean, Israel is worse than Ukraine when it comes to billions of dollars a year of taxpayer money that gets sent there. But we're sending more, according to Biden, including multiple ships and aircraft carriers. Here we go, folks. We're in Ukraine, proxy war there. We're going to be out in the Middle East now. Proxy war there. Eventually, we're going to be in an all-out war. What does this mean for us Americans? A lot. Oil prices are already starting to go up. More money now when you drive your vehicles. There are tensions here in the country between Palestinians, Muslims, and the Jewish community. So protests and support for Palestine in Manhattan earlier today. Can that lead to, you know, more problems, maybe bigger beefs and even all-out brawls in the street between the two groups? As the fighting continues over there, will we see Americans, troops be sent in America just engage in all-out war? Is that what's going to happen? Maybe it's time for us to start preparing for the future. You know, they're building here in Yonkers. However, I want to talk, before I get into that, let's talk about the campaign signs. Anthony Moranti's campaign signs allegedly are being thrown to the ground. They're being removed by, according to sources, and they're saying that they're going to have proof of this, by James Nolan's parents, Donna Nolan and Big Jim Nolan, the guy who drives around with the BMW and the Donald Trump stuff all over it. According to sources, and they've posted some pictures on Instagram, I seen a picture posted by Ron Matten of one of Moranti's signs thrown on the ground. And according to another source, the people doing this, and this is just allegedly, I don't know if it's true or not, but they're saying that they're going to have some proof to show who's the one taking down both Debbie Kozak's and Anthony Moranti's signs. But why would they do that? Why would the parents of James Nolan, the Westchester County legislator who represents District 17, who himself is up for re-election, he's being challenged by Ruth Walter, who held the position prior to Nolan becoming the new legislator there. They're Republicans. Anthony Morante's a Republican. Debbie Kozak's a Republican. So why would they tear down those signs? Why would they not tear down the Ruth Walter signs? In fact, I got some strange emails not too long ago from an individual who said they were a Democrat. They were looking at several races. One of them was the race between James Nolan and Ruth Walter, and they were supporting Nolan in that race. However, when it came to Shanae and Debbie Kozak, they were supporting Shanae, and they started to badmouth Debbie Kozak. That emailer has also sent me other information regarding the Paulie Agostino situation there, and I'm starting to believe it is true who they say this person may be. I hope it's not. But is it the same people that are ripping up the signs, according to alleged sources? We'll see. Let's see the proof there. I want to see it. But why would they do that? James Nolan, they're on the same side. They're Republicans. Morante's the Republican and also the Restore Term Limit candidate. Is this true? And if it's true, but that's just another, that's politics in Yonkers. That's how it's always been here. We know politics is very dirty. Politics is very corrupt here. And there is no real Republican Party, right? There is only one party here. You would think it's the Democrats, right? Technically, but we know that that's not the case, right? Those individuals who belong to that party can be both Republican and Democrats. And it's all about the party of favors. If you give, your support, your money, you hold up signs, you will get a job, you will get your building permits approved right away, you will get contracts, you will get everything, all kinds of support. You'll have elected officials at your event, at your business, cutting ribbons. But if you dare oppose certain individuals, your business will get demolished, destroyed. You will have a group of these individuals who are all part of the same cult attack you from every angle. They will email you crazy things. They will rip out your signs. They will spread rumors about you in the workplace. Because according to Paulie Agostino, the individuals that spread that were the brothers of James Nolan. I did get an email that tried to blame it on someone else, but I don't believe it was that guy. So what's going on here? Hopefully, that can stop. Shame, shame, shame. That should not be going on. No one's signs should be touched. They should be all respected. Those signs cost money. That's vandalism, destroying private property, right? They pay for that. And it's a shame if it would be the parents of a county legislator. And I like James Nolan, right? This is not an attack on James Nolan and the Nolan family, but this is what I'm hearing from sources. They're saying that they're going to provide proof. This is all allegedly. I have seen pictures of Morante's signs down. I have heard of Debbie Kozak's signs being ripped off from the home field area, nearby home field bowling. So that's not okay. It's just politics is dirty here in Yonkers. It's very, very, very dirty. They're not there for you guys, our elected officials that are in there now. Now, they're for the developers that I'll be talking about in a second. Mike Spano has some signs up, a few here and there. I don't really see any Mike Spano signs at all that say re-elect Mike Spano or vote for Mike Spano for mayor. All the signs, or the few signs that I've seen, all say Mike Spano. That's it. They just say his name, blue and white, Mike Spano. Does he not want anyone to vote for him? You don't want people to know you're running for re-election? What's going on? Why is the mayor's signs not including the words vote for, re-elect, or the word mayor before his name? Why are they just signs with his name on it? Some people are saying that the mayor does not want people to know that there's an election going on. A low voter turnout is in the benefit of the current administration and the incumbents who are running for re-election. Is that true? Is he trying to, avoid letting many people know that he's up for re-election if they don't already know? Is he trying to, keep it kind of hush-hush? Just simply Mike Spano, just embed the name in your mind, in the event that you do go vote or that you happen to have someone come at your door with your ballot that they somehow got from the Board of Elections up in White Plains, right? So that's what some people are saying. They're saying that the mayor's trying to keep voter, or his team is trying to keep the voter turnout low by not posting more signs. But I have seen those orange signs, Mike Spano's. So I don't know if that's the case. That's not true, or it is true. But folks, there's an election this November. The mayor is running for re-election. He's running for a fourth term, something that was very controversial because technically, once upon a time, a mayor only had 2 terms in Yonkers, 2 4-year terms. That was a maximum of 8 years you could run. But then that was changed in 2018 when the Yonkers City Council voted to extend it to 3 terms. So making it 12 years, which is what the mayor has done so far. That legislation was introduced by Mike Breen and Michael Sabatino. Mike Breen is now up for re-election as well. So he will also be taking advantage of the opportunity to run again for a 4th term. And I think he's going unchallenged. Or is he challenged? Is anyone challenging him over there in 5th District? And so now I should say, when was it? Last year, Lakeisha Collins, or at the beginning of the year, remember, Lakeisha Collins Bellamy, the city council president, introduced legislation to extend it for 4 terms. So now the mayor's running for a 4th term. If he wins, he will be a mayor for 16 years here in the city of Yonkers. Many people have been opposing that. Many people are upset, even people that like the mayor. They say that it's just too much. It wasn't done the right way. The people did not have an opportunity to vote on whether or not they wanted the terms to be extended, right? I mean, it doesn't just affect the mayor's election. It affects council members as well, right? So should they have 16 years of being elected? Should they have that opportunity? So their argument is you can vote the mayor or you can vote for Moranti or someone else. You don't have to vote for the mayor. So the people have a choice, but it's a limited choice. You limited their choices by allowing the mayor to run again. There was nobody that was going to be able to get the endorsement, get the union support. Nobody else but the mayor. That was already lined up. 1199 already had it lined up. CSCA 9169 had it lined up. YPB, right? PBA, I'm sorry, had it lined up, right? They already had that lined up. So unless the mayor was not allowed to run again, there was no way someone else was going to come in and become the Democratic candidate for mayor, right? There was no way they were going to beat him in the primary. It just wasn't going to happen. After 12 years, the mayor has managed to amass a lot of resources, connections, has been able to set the chessboard up in a way that it's hard to checkmate him. And that's the problem. And that is exactly the purpose of having term limits. So when you change them, you're defeating the purpose, right? And so that's the point. And I don't think that they get that. It just like goes over the city council's head. Or maybe they don't want to get it. I know that Lakeisha, she's very educated. She gets it. I can see other people maybe not getting it, but I think they all get it, right? And there's a benefit in it for them, right? Again, there are certain individuals that back Tasha Diaz for campaign elections by getting her support, getting her campaign funding. Same with Shanae, the same with John Rubo, the same with Mike Breen, the same with Lakeisha Collins Bellamy. It's the same one individual that gets all these people their support, their campaign funding, runs their elections, right? So he has a monopoly on the city council. They know if they want to continue their career in politics, they need this one guy. So this one guy says, hey, this is what I need for you guys to do. And that's exactly what they're doing. What is that? They're approving everything that has to do with the developers. Kathy Hochul has been in Yonkers a lot, and she's been talking about these developments and what's been happening here.
She also has one of the bills that we're signing today, too. So this is a special treat to have this occur in your home community here. So also Senator Michelle Hinchy, one of our other bill sponsors, thank you for joining us as well. Another bill sponsor, Assembly Member Tom Avenatti, so thank you, Tom. Assembly Member Stephen Engelbright is here, another one of our sponsors. You've heard of the other elected officials. Also, Beth Finkel, what a champion she is for our senior citizens. I mean, she does an extraordinary job as the state director of AARP. Any seniors in the house? All right, come on. Okay. Okay. Anybody got the card? I got the card. Okay. All right. Well, there's a real sense of pride and joy in aging in the state of New York.
So she's talking about senior developments. We've seen a lot of this affordable senior housing being developed. La Mora, the Lego set that they're building over there. There's one that's going to be going up on Warburton. But you know, folks, the reality is that they're wanting the elderly to sell their homes. Those are the them who have homes still. If you're living in a house, you're elderly. They're looking to push as many elderly to sell their homes, get into an apartment. So these investors, primarily companies like Vanguard and BlackRock, are going to come and buy your homes. According to Robert Kennedy Jr., BlackRock and Vanguard own or will own 60% of all residential homes, not commercial property, not multifamily, not big apartment complexes, but single family residential homes. And so that's really the big push and why they're building so many senior homes. They're wanting to get the seniors out of their homes. You heard John Rubo just a year or so ago talking about this whole program, how he wanted to, get seniors into these senior homes because, now seniors, they want to downsize. And if they're interested in selling their home, we can help them with that process. So he's the real estate chair, right? So he's working with the developers and the investors. He know what the deal is, right? Let's get the seniors out of their homes. Many of the homes here in the city of Yonkers are owned by a lot of seniors, right? People who have owned these homes forever, 40 years, 50 years. And many of the homes are actually occupied by the children of the people who bought them initially, right? And some of them have gotten older. So many people would see the writing on the wall. The cost of living going up in the city of Yonkers is becoming a lot more crowded. We are definitely becoming New York City. I mean, the music out of the car speakers, all of the mopeds in and out of the lanes and sidewalks, right? It's definitely New York City feel. And so people are leaving and they see an opportunity to make some money on their home. Maybe they will go into the senior living. Maybe they'll get the hell out of Dodge, go into a red state if they know what's good for them. That's what you need to be doing. So that's what the whole purpose of a lot of this senior development and stuff is, making it affordable. But is it really about the seniors? I mean, look at what's happening over there at Riverdale and Prospect Street. They're removing the CVS and the shop right there. Something that a lot of these seniors and elderly in that area rely on. They don't have transportation, so they walk there. They go to the CVS for their medication. They go to ShopRite for their food, and then they push their carts back to their apartment. And so what will they do? They're on fixed incomes. A company like Whole Foods or one of these higher end supermarkets may not be within their budget. So what will they do? Right? So this is not about seniors. They're not making it accommodating for seniors. Sure, they're building senior housing, but what else around the area is for seniors? Oh, I know, the Golden Senior Years Foundation. If you have nothing to do and you want to get out of your box apartment that you've been now trapped in, you can have them pick you up and take you to the Castle Royale. But they might keep you outside in the heat. But if you're lucky enough, you get a 55-inch TV, right? So I want to show this also from the affordable housing development here on Main Street. Remember, they did the groundbreaking ceremony. The governor was down here. She's very invested in the city of Yonkers. Again, she's very invested in everything that's happening here, specifically with the studios, the movie studios, the Hollywood under Hudson. This is an Albany plan. Many will say it's Nick Spano and Mike Spano and the Spanos. No, they are helping facilitate the plan. But this is a plan that was, crafted up in Albany before Kathy Hochul, actually. But they saw an opportunity to get Kathy Hochul in office, and then they would capture the plan. And they would control and help facilitate. And that's what they've done, build a relationship with Kathy Hochul. And now they're facilitating a lot of these developments, helping to sell off the properties of the city of Yonkers, helping to push out certain demographics, forcing certain individuals to sell their businesses and their homes in order to make way for the movie studios. Sure, they're going to build affordable housing here and there. This one on Main Street and Warburton Avenue, only a 76-unit affordable building, and it's not going to have more than 24 parking spaces. So there's going to be an issue with parking down there.
This project has been a vision of so many people over the last 3 years, and it's really coming to fruition now. And it's really a collaboration of city, state, and county government in a very real way. The person who really made this the entree, who really said to us, come make this happen, and he's done it so much because it's one of the fastest growing cities in the state of New York, is my dear friend, Mayor Mike Spano. Now,
property. And I was walking around before saying, wasn't there a comedian that had his family's diner on this spot? And I can't remember his name. It was it's a mad world and all. And I sat down and I looked over and I saw Sid Caesar Way. So Sid Caesar, right? It was that great. Yonkers resident, right? This was a plot of where his family business was. So, and we dedicated, Governor dedicated the street in his name a few years back. But as we have cleaned up and revitalized our city, and we've done a lot with the help of certainly our state government, which has helped us, along with some help from the federal government and local and private developers, where we've been able to clean up what was the old factory sites on the water's edge and build nice housing, right? Beautiful housing, so people could really enjoy the view of the Palisades, enjoy access to the Hudson River. And we wanted to make sure that while we were putting all this housing here, that when the tide goes up in that water, that all of the boats go up with it. And the only way to do that is to provide for affordable units, because we want to make sure that for the people who've lived here my whole life, I never had access. I was brought up in this neighborhood. I was never had access to the Hudson River, and now I do. But we wanted to make sure that they weren't priced out and forced out of the community. We're not seeing that. There's 22% of all of the 22,000
exactly
new units that have been okayed for Yonkers.
They talk about the rising tide, right? Meaning if if we build these luxury developments and bring on this new development, then everybody's going to prosper, right? The tides are going to rise and all the boats are going to go up along with it. But the water's going up fast, and most of the dinghies and rowboats are getting flipped over and they're sinking. The mayor says that he wanted to, make sure that people weren't getting priced out, but that's exactly what's happening. People are getting priced out. The rents are going up. Their incomes are not. So how are they going to pay the increases in the rent? And they're going up as much as $500, $1,000. They spoke a lot about a pathway to home ownership, but how can that be when the prices of homes here in the city of Yonkers are going up, up, up? Doesn't matter if it's the Southwest side, you can still see homes there for $1 million. Yeah, $1 million for a 2,500 square feet home here in the city of Yonkers. That's what we're starting to see now. Homes are being bought up by investors left and right in areas like Nodine Hill, and they're renovating them, and they're making them look fancy, right? They're putting, new countertops, granite countertops. They're doing granite floors. They're doing these all white bathrooms, right? They're making them look high end, and you can do that cheaply as well, but it can look really high end. And that's attracting a certain class of individuals, people with higher incomes, which is only going to cost the price of homes, even in the Nodine Hill section, to go up. An area that many people probably would not have bought a home in, or now can't even afford if they wanted to. And that's what's going to be happening. That's what's been happening. So a pathway to home ownership is becoming less and less realistic, especially as these big investors are coming in to gobble up all residential homes. And this is something that's happening nationwide. And you can look this up. Many people are, bringing light to this, making people aware of how these big institutionals are buying residential. That just means that prices of homes are going to continue to rise. But it doesn't seem like the average person is buying it, right? Most people are now starting to struggle the economy is hitting a lot of people hard. So how is it that prices of homes are going up? Where's the demand coming from? And that's from investors, big institutional banks, right? Hedge funds, again, the BlackRocks, the Vanguards, the State Streets. They're buying up residentials because they want people to be renters and not owners, right? They don't want people owning property. That's the World Economics Forum tagline. You own nothing and be happy, right? Everything's going to be rented. You're not even going to drive. There's no need, right? You're just going to take Ubers, or you're going to take an electric scooter, some kind of form of public transportation. That's what they're hoping for, right? I want to let you see this guy a little bit here. His name is Paul Adler.
Go for it. You made it.
Thank you, Joe. And Joe,
Let's hear his introduction.
I want to take the opportunity to introduce a gentleman who is one of the most prolific commercial real estate brokers in this region, particularly in Rockland County and in Westchester County, and someone whose political advice we're always well to take, because he's one of the smartest political advisors I have ever met, Mr. Paul Adler. Paul, would you come forward?
Paul Adler is the principal and owner of Rand Realty, doing a lot of business here in Yonkers. A lot
thank
of
you,
real estate
Joe.
transactions.
And Joe read that just as I wrote it. So I'm so delighted that you did that. What a great day. The sun is always shining in Yonkers. And when you look around and you see what this city has become, Joe was right on point. Mayor Mike Spano, his team, the county.
By the way, these are the rich people that are taking over Yonkers, the ones that are gentrifying Yonkers and pushing you out. You've ever seen them in Yonkers?
Council, the state legislators, and his administration have transformed this city back into the city of gracious living, which is what it has always been called. But you take a look at what's happened here. The most popular bird in Westchester and particularly in Yonkers is the crane. It is up everywhere, building this city up, doing what it needs to have happen here. This city for far too long was probably the greatest asset on the Hudson River. And when you look around, it has become accessible for all. And that's the hallmark of the Spano administration, from stem to stern, from the Hudson River all the way over to the Mount Vernon border and northern Westchester. Yonkers is really the place to be. And in fact, it is the only city in the state of New York growing in population and whose school district has just jumped ahead of everywhere else, doing great work. And that is really telling in terms.
So do you agree with this guy? Do you believe it? One thing's for sure is the population is going up. But you notice that he said, we're doing this all over, from Yonkers to Hudson River and Yonkers, all the way east to Mount Vernon, to the northernmost part of Westchester. Like I said, this is going to be happening in all towns and cities in Westchester. And that is why they are working to control the Westchester County Democratic Committee and the Board of Legislators. Like I said, they're going for the county. They want to control that as well. There's a lot of development deals happening there. Paul Adler is a real estate broker. He owner of Rand Realty, the company that Nick Spano has a realtor license with as well. They've been involved in a lot of transactions of properties here in the city. Some are speculating that they were involved in the sale or the transaction of the Greenway Plaza, or the mall that the ShopRite is located in, which is, not too far from that corner right there. It's just at the next light, in fact. And so those who are going to be living in this all affordable development, who obviously are on fixed incomes or on some, limited income and budget, they have to budget, right, their money. They obviously qualify for affordable housing. Are they going to go to a Whole Foods? Where they're going to go to the supermarket at, right? And the pricing of homes there in the city, a downtown area, have gone up. It's not accessible for everyone, and it's primarily hit hard families, as many of these developments going up have very little 3-bedroom apartments. Most of the units that are going up in whether it's luxury or an all affordable building, most of them are 1 and 2 bedrooms. So it's interesting that we see that happening, and I believe it's because they're trying to get some of the families out. They want to make this a more younger, hip town, movie studio folks, movie production crew, people living here, right? Not people having families. Many, again, of the people that are that need affordable housing or that may get government assistance like Section 8 vouchers, or may get full funded rent, and I guess that's welfare, where you get, the rent fully paid for, are a lot of families, right? And they're getting pushed out for sure, because many of the luxury developments, if they do have 3 bedrooms, are going for over $3,000, and they want you to make 3 times that in a month, right? So that's over $9,000 you have to make a month, house in order for you to get one of these 3-bedroom apartments. And that's not including all the fees that they have. They have a lot of amenities like the pools and the clubhouses and the rooftop decks, lounges, and all that stuff, right? They charge extra for that every month. They're charging extra for the cameras. It's like a $70 charge for camera fee, right? There's a rooftop deck fee. There's a pool fee. If you have dogs, you got to pay an extra, $100 a month fee. So, that can add up, putting you close to $4,000 for one of these new apartments in these luxury rentals, right? In these luxury buildings, a 3-bedroom. How many families in that area, or the average family that makes $34,000 a year, gonna afford that? That's just not possible. So it's not accessible for everybody, and it's definitely not accessible for a lot of the people who are already living there. And so again, people are being pushed out, and people are scrambling to apply for these few affordable housing units that they are developing, right? They're only putting 76 units versus luxury developments that are doing 200, 300, 400, or even 900, like the Tutonia and Buena Vista. So they're putting more wealthier people in the area than those who are living in affordable housing. So it's an obvious, a replacement of the people. It's gentrification, but it's a new gentrification where it's by class, not so much by race. They're not pushing only the blacks out. They're pushing anyone who cannot afford to live there out, and they know that is a majority of the people there. So a lot of people are going, and Macy has been helping with that by giving people vouchers to get to go to other states, right? So, and even other cities, right? Not just in Yonkers. Before it was a voucher, you had to find somewhere in Yonkers, but now you're allowed. Depending on the voucher you get, they're giving some folks vouchers. You can go to Greenburgh, you can go anywhere else, go to Connecticut, go to Bridgeport, right? Go down south. We don't care. Just get out, get out, get out. So that's what's going on here in the city of Yonkers. The mayor certainly didn't have to spend any money on those reelect signs. Had them for the 2nd term, 3rd term, and now for the 4th term. Talk about recycling. Oh, interesting. Well, at least he's recycling, right? Well, it's not many going up. It's interesting. I want to let you hear one more thing about Kathy Hochul, if I got it here. No, she's talking about Ukraine. I had another video. I'm not sure where it went. But anyway, she was basically just talking about, addressing the affordable housing crisis, which we have here in the state of New York, Westchester County, and Yonkers, by funding all this development, that's going up, by seeing all these, new buildings. And she says, that's going to ease the demand. But the majority of the buildings are luxury development, and it's not easing the demand because the prices are not going down. She says the development of all these buildings are going to ease the demand, thus bringing the prices down. Basic law of supply and demand. The less of a demand, the prices go down. The demand is high, the prices go up because the inventory becomes low. But the inventory is high and the prices are high. Many of those apartment complexes are not full yet, but the prices are still going up. And people have actually been evicted. They have done mass evictions out there in the waterfront apartments because prices have gone up and the people could not keep up with the cost of living there. And they're having to bring them up because they're not full, and they have to make up for the apartments that they have empty. They need those other units that have tenants to help support and sustain them while they work to get it full. And that's all going to be based on when the movie studios are complete and the movie studio business gets in full swing here in the city of Yonkers. But by that time, many of us may not be here. And that's a fact. Prices are going to only continue to go up. They're not going to go down. So I suggest, folks, you need to start making plans. But there are other reasons that to get out of New York is not just the cost of living. You got to see what's happening here. The influx of migrants that are coming here. Not that I'm anti-migrants. It's just making the place crowded. It's creating a situation that I see as a powder keg. We have all this horrible flooding now. And it's happening more often. And it doesn't seem like they're doing anything about it. Every time it rains hard, we just have to deal with flooding. We have to deal with our cars getting damaged. The last time it rained, yesterday, there were more cars damaged again at the parking lot of Kohl's. That happens every time. Are they not going to do anything about it? At least warn people not to park there, especially when it's expected to rain. So what are they doing? The infrastructure here is not that great. They have developed a lot more, but they haven't really addressed the infrastructure. I know someone was mentioning to me that City of Yonkers, DPW, did get some money from the state to do some work so they can, try and ease this flooding that we've been seeing here. That's actually getting worse. It seems like more places are flooding, places that didn't even flood before in Yonkers. Central Avenue was a pool, a lake, not that, at the last time that it rained, something that I'd never seen before. In New York City, many of the subways were full of water. You couldn't even see the tracks. I mean, the water was up to the platforms, right? And people, I saw a video of one guy jet skiing through the city, because of the flooding. So, there's a lot of things happening here in the city of Yonkers, the state of New York, right? That just, maybe it's time to go. Maybe it's time to go, man. There are a lot of other places, that you have space, schools that are 10 of 10, right? Not here. Our schools here, 2 of 10, 3 of 10. And I know Paul Adler, the real estate investor guy and broker who's selling everything up in Yonkers, making millions and millions of dollars, would like you to believe that the schools have gotten so much better. But the truth is they have not improved. Regardless if the graduation rate is at 90%. They have not improved. Our kids who have graduated already, our kids who are going through the school now, the school district now, they're being shortchanged. They're missing out on so much. They don't have, like I see other kids in other states and the schools that they go to, it's like they're missing out on a real childhood, on a real high school experience, on a real middle school experience, on a real life experience for kids of that age. That's nothing for them. They go to school, it's, old buildings, broke down lockers, mold on the walls, nothing visually exciting, nothing really stimulating in a positive way. The curriculum is dull and dry and boring and doesn't teach them anything to survive out in the real world. Then they go home and what? There's no after school stuff for them. Sure, you got these after school programs, but there are many kids that are out in the street. Right? They're not going to an after school program, right? For one reason or another, especially the teenagers, right? And they're not even going to some of these programs that they do have for the teenagers. They're just out and about, wandering through life. And it's a shame because in other places that I've lived and, places that, I live sometimes of the year, and that I'm going to retire in, the kids have these beautiful lives, man. They have these great high school experiences, they do these great events that involve the community and the people in the community. It's just an amazing experience for them. They do so much more, and it's just sad to see that, so while they touting all these luxury developments, and I'm glad that the investors are making all this money, that's great. Kudos to you guys, kudos to all of you making all the money and that I got all the bunch of sources of income. I hope you are just blessed and fulfilled in all your money, right? But that's not doing nothing for the average people. There's no real positive changes that are happening for the average person. There's not buildings being built that people can actually afford. People are still scrambling and fighting to get into certain buildings that are being built. Many people are not. They're getting rejected. They're spending money to try on these application fees only to get denied. people are becoming homeless more and more. People are addicted to drugs throughout the city. I mean, what is really changing, right? So we have to think ahead. We have to have foresight, right? And see, what's really happening here, right? What is this master plan really about, right? That we can't wait till it's here. We have to see what's really the plan for these elected officials. What are they trying to do here? How are they really changing our community? And who is it for? Who are the ones that are going to benefit? Is it, the average person in Yonkers that's been here all their life, that's been wanting to see some improvement but have not seen this? Or is it for people who are not even here yet? People that are going to come with more money. They're going to be able to afford these apartments as they continue to go up. And once it's all complete and it's beautified and you got this long, greenway trail or whatever it's called, again, who are going to be the people that are going to utilize it, right? So you have to think about that, You have to ask yourself, what happened to now make Spano and Hochul be the best of friends? In 2021, he tweeted and then deleted that Lieutenant Governor Hochul comes to Yonkers with little to offer. And then as she prepared to take her oath of office as governor, Spano announces his exploration committee to run for governor, and now they are BFFs. I don't know. Maybe that was just something that he was doing to get her attention. Maybe they wanted to get her attention in order to become friends, right? You have to kind of say, hey, listen, we're here, blah, 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 we want to build a relationship with you because we're the ones that control Yonkers down there. We know that there's a lot that's going to be happening down in Yonkers. And if you want it to go smoothly, you have to go through us, right? If you want to get those permits approved for your developer friends, you got to be nice with us. If you want the land that we have, the city-owned properties, the different lots, you got to be nice with us. If you want support here in Yonkers, you want, votes from Yonkers, you got to be nice with us. And maybe that's what that was about, just kind of to get her attention so she can be buddy-buddy. And now that's what they are. And they're doing a lot of business together. They're developing all of Yonkers for, people that are rich, that are elitists, that's what's going to be coming here with the movie studios. I hear that actors are already in and around Yonkers. What I was told, they get trapped, they get driven to different sites, I guess, where they do stuff, or they've been doing stuff before the strike, in these vehicles that are dark, so nobody see them. I heard Brad Pitt was in town at one point. And so, that's Hollywood. That's Hollywood. And most of us, if not all of us out here, and we're not Hollywood, right? We're not Hollywood. We're regular folks, but it's going to be Hollywood. It's going to be a new class of people, and it's only a matter of time. But I would imagine in 10 years, Southwest Yonkers is not going to be the same Southwest Yonkers that, I grew up in, which the Southwest Yonkers I grew up in, I can't say it was a bad Southwest Yonkers, right? Sure, we had our crime. Sure, we had this, but we still were a great community, strong community. We all knew each other. We came out, we looked out for each other. I wasn't scared to go out. I wasn't scared of being kidnapped, or we weren't scared of someone getting shot, really, not at least where we live, right? But now it's just like run down, and it's sad, and it's just dreary, and the drugs, it's just, there were drugs before, but again, it just wasn't like it is now, to just people everywhere. It just doesn't even matter what time of the day it is, the homelessness, it's just right in your face. It just seems like we really decayed a lot, as a society. But that's how it's gonna be. And and for me, like, we definitely have our plans to get out of Yonkers in New York. And if you're able to do something like that and make plans, I would recommend that. If you're young, right, and you're starting out in life, and and you don't have family is going to give you a bunch of millions of dollars, maybe you want to go out somewhere outside of Yonkers, outside of New York State, because it's becoming so saturated here. You can really do well in other areas, especially business wise. You want to get a certain business. Here in Yonkers, it's so saturated. How many bodegas do they have? How many smoke shops do they have, right? How many this, how many that? I mean, it's just so much. And in real estate, I mean, forget it. The cost of real estate here is just, it's inflated. It's really overinflated. But because you have the developers out here that are just buying everything up, and they're overpaying just because they know they're going to get the money. They're getting all these tax incentives, grant money, and all that anyway to also help them, right? The prices are going up. So if you want to get into real estate here, unless you prepare to, spend $800 to $1 million, or you can get, some financing for that, it's not gonna do, it's not gonna go well for you, right? I mean, you're not gonna going to be this big. You know, you may get one property if you can able to secure the lending, or, you know, but I mean, if you really have certain money, let's say, you know, you got, you know, $400,000 or $500,000, you know, 600,000, you know, just $500,000, you know, even less than that, you can go other places and buy property, you know, cheap. You know, sometimes to the point where you don't have a mortgage, you buy in cash and you collect the rent on that, you know, and, you know, if you buy in certain areas, you know, they appreciate in value and you collect your rent. And if you need the money, you can, you know, always liquidate, you know, sell off the property, you know, and get your profit that you make on it. Hopefully that be the case. You're making a profit, right? So if you're interested in doing things like that, you know, again, you know, starting a business, go somewhere else. New York is becoming way too expensive. There's too many regulations and laws. You know, the taxes are crazy. You know, it's so corrupt with politics here. It's another thing that impacts people trying to get into business, you know, especially in smaller towns like Yonkers, Mount Vernon, you know, where, you know, the politics is just, forget it. It's everywhere. It's, you know, they got their claws and into everything. So go out to other places. You know, you can really do well. You can start a business out there. Maybe you have an idea that they have here in New York and you bring it somewhere else. They don't have it there and it takes off. You know, you maybe, like I said, you got a few $100,000 that you want, or you want to, you know, maybe get a loan out there. You know, you got some money and, you know, you want to get a little bit more. You know, you can get yourself a loan, put that into some properties. You know, you can get a couple properties as opposed to one, right? You know, out there you can get in certain places. You can get single family homes, 50,000, 60, you know, maybe even 100,000, you know, and that's cheap, you know, 1,200, 1,300 square foot home, backyard. And then you can rent those out, right? Because, you know, you're not spending 800,000 like here in Yonkers. You know, what you're going to do is spend 800,000. It's not going to be worth it as an investment property, right? So out there, you can do things like that. You can even get apartment complexes cheap. You know, there was some, at one point I was looking at some $150,000, you know, some of them that were, you know, they were halfway occupied, you know, half empty, half occupied, but $150,000, $200,000, you know, for these apartments. So just look around, you know, explore, get outside. That's what I say to kids. Go to college. If you're going to college, go to college outside of New York. Leave where you're from. Explore the country. You know, you don't have to explore the world. You can explore the country. I think that's the start there, and see what other places are like, how it is to live in other places, man. I'm happy that I was able to do that. I'm fortunate that I was able to do that. And that was able to help me, you know, think things, you know, think a little bit differently and do things a certain way to, you know, kind of set us up, you know, a little bit and makes, you know, some decisions that, you know, I may have not known, you know, if I hadn't explored that or had that opportunity to leave New York, right? I won't be thinking New York, but, you know, there's other places out there, you know, that are doing well. You know, the real estate market is doing well. You know, they got, you know, companies out there that are hiring, you know, there's more middle class people, right? It's not all these bunch of rich people and then you have poor people. That's New York. That's what New York is becoming. There's no middle class anymore in New York, right? It's either you're very rich or you're poor. You need some kind of assistance. You need even if you're making 80,000, 90,000, you know, it's still difficult to survive in the state of New York. And at the end of the day, if you can survive, right, what are you really getting? What are you really getting out here? I mean, really, what are you getting out here? Again, the schools are crappy, right? They don't even reach 5. There's 5 and no 5. Where any 5s out of 10? It's 2 out of 10, 3 out of 10. You know, the roads are crap. The infrastructure crap. The houses are old out here. I get houses. You get a house for $40,000, $50,000 with central AC, right? They got central AC in it, right? Central AC and heating, and you get it for you know. There was some at the time I was, you know, $50,000, 50,000, right? You do some cosmetic work, painting or whatever, maybe change out some fixtures, you know, faucets, add some new appliances. It's still worth it. The taxes for these homes are not even, you know, $1,000 a year, right? Very low maintenance costs on it. So if you're interested in real estate, you know, get out of Yonkers, man. You know, go somewhere else. There's a lot of places you can do well, you know, and you don't have to collect, you know, $5,000 a month on one property, you know, because again, it's all about, you know, return on your investment. You know, what's your ROI? You know what I mean? You spend $500,000 here, you know, to make $3,000 a month, but then your expenses and everything else leave you with, $500, and you take that same $500,000 somewhere else and you buy more property, and now you're making $10,000 a month and you have very little maintenance costs and holding costs and, expenses, and you're making most of that, you're taking, with you. I mean, if you can't live there, you get a property manager that can manage it. Many times they take a percentage of what they collect. They'll look after things for you. Just make sure that they check the homes before they give the tenant to get the hell out of my property check, okay? Because it'll cost you more money. Anyway, folks, I'm Freddie Vasquez. I'm up out of here. Maui. I wish I could be like you, Maui. Just wish I could be like you. I wish I could be like Maui, man, and all these other guys, man. They're so cool. You guys are gonna invite me over there to the surf and turf place over there on the shore, on the sound, by the sound or around the sound. So I'm not invited with you guys. I like a little bit of lobster and steak. You know what I mean? Nice 38 day aged steak, prime rib, tomahawk rib, with a nice, lobster tail from Maine or somewhere. Invited me, guys? No, I can't go. Just all right. Anyway, it's for the rich people. It's not for us. For the cool people that make a lot of money. Thank you, Romario. I appreciate you, man. Love, peace, and soul. Shout out to your man. Tell your man, listen, man, I'm not even stressing that. You know what I mean? But just tell him, man, listen. He good. He Gucci, right? I think he got some stuff that he's good with. You know what I mean? Just tell him he got to leverage things right. Leverage that right, and he'll be all right. They won't mess with him. You know what I mean? That's all it is. You got to leverage what you got. But, tell him he's whatever. I really don't care, man. I'm not getting into the nonsense. You know what I'm saying? I'm here to live my life, make my money, right? And continue doing me. I'm going to still let you guys know what's going on, here happening in the city of Yonkers. I'm going to give it to you raw and honest. But as far as that stuff, unless it pertains to something serious in the city of Yonkers, like, for example, like Anthony DiMaggio, and what he's going through, we should know about things like that. If people are being targeted, and because I've heard other people have had this happen too. This is at this point, you guys probably know already, this is a personal experience at this point with us, right? That people are targeted for speaking out, and that shouldn't happen. So I'll talk about things in that way. But as far as whatever other personal stuff that has nothing to do with, nothing here, just people want to just throw darts or throw shots, I'm not throwing shots. I said shots, darts, shots for any of you guys anymore, because that's what I wanted to talk about, but I'm gonna get off now. But maybe next time, about the emails that people have sent pretending to be reliable sources, giving me information that's juicy, but the goal of that information is to either discredit me because it's false, or to embarrass me, or possibly get me into some kind of legal trouble, get a lawsuit, or if it's real, to cause a problem between me and other individuals, right? And I know for a fact that it's people within these groups that are supposed to be cool with each other, but they want to throw darts at each other, right? They want to attack each other without letting it be known, because, in public, they're friends. But you guys, all of you, have to think about where I got some of this information from, right? I could say it's anonymous. A lot of it was, but there was some people, it wasn't. And there was some that were anonymous, but we were able to identify them, right? And these are people that are in your own circles that you probably are talking shit about me with, right? Yeah, that guy, Freddie. Yeah. Meanwhile, that person you're saying all that to has given Freddie information about you. That's how you guys roll. And I don't roll with people like that, because that ain't who I am. I keep it real. Peace out. Have a blessed week.